And you're now listening to Talking Famous.
All right, so welcome back to Talk Infamous. It's been a long time coming. We left y'all hanging for a minute, but we always come back at the right time.
Yes.
Divine timing. But yeah, we back now, and I don't know what episode we are, but it's been a minute.
We on...
But yeah, we have a lot to say. So like this episode will be a little bit different from the average episode because we felt like, since we haven't spoke to you guys in a minute, we want to touch on a couple of things.
Yes.
I think one of the things I want to touch on is definitely perception and intuition.
And discernment.
In regards to like social media and stuff like that. That's something I've just really been coming across lately. I recently took like a little social media break.
Yes. How was that?
It's been about 2-3 weeks. I feel like it's been a long time coming. Like I've been feeling like I wanted to just like take a break from it, and I've taken breaks before. And with this break, I'm not quite sure if it's going to be a small one because the longest I ever took was like a year.
Wow.
Yeah, and then it's crazy once you do that. You would think like once you have a year off and you get back into it, you'll have like a better
perception of it
and better hold over like how to like not get caught up in the loophole. But once I got back in, you was like you're back in
for real.
Yeah. So and then I took a couple months off, and then throughout the year I took like probably like a week or a couple days off. So like right now I'm not quite sure like what it's looking like. I feel like it is going to be a longer one.
Yeah.
But at first I couldn't quite figure out what was like kind of like drawing me to take a break. I think I knew, but I think a part of it was, and until the only thing one thing I do when I take breaks, I do not include TikTok as social media break.
I'm weak.
It was funny because I seen a TikTok that was like, it was crazy. Once like 2 weeks after I did it, they was like, yeah, the girl was like on TikTok. I'm probably gonna search. She was like, when I say I'm taking a social media break, I don't mean include TikTok. TikTok's therapy. And in a sense, for me, TikTok is very therapeutic. I talk about this all the time. I just feel like TikTok, the way the atmosphere around it is like kind of fresher, like than with Instagram and stuff like that.
I do feel like it's fresh.
Yeah, because it still has still have a sense of rawness and authenticity, and it's still not backed by. I mean, of course, they still have like branding and stuff like that, as far as like what's it called, advertisement and stuff like that, but it's not on a heavy scale as where Instagram is. Yeah, I still feel like it still have that freshness because it's still fairly new.
That's funny because I feel like TikTok is not superficial. I feel like sometimes Instagram can be superficial.
Yeah. And I think with TikTok, it does have the superficial side, the soft girl, the soft girl life or the luxury side. But I feel like it's mixed. Whereas with Instagram, it's very much like you said, it's very superficial, and I feel like a lot of people don't know how to live in their truth. It creates a thing where you can't really, I wouldn't say live in your truth, but it's more so, the highlight reels and stuff like that. Yeah. So you don't really get the duality and the stuff of it. And right now, like, I feel like for me, I just want to like be more present. And I think somebody said something like another TikTok, which I didn't kind of feel like there was a reason, but now I can see like, she like, I'm sick of being like perceived, like via social media. Yeah. And I said, I think because a lot of times we only put on the good things or, not the bad things. We are only, to an extent, we are only kind of like giving people
one side of us.
Yeah, one side of us. Yeah. And
I would agree with that.
It's kind of, I think it's not really the issue, but I think it's more so like when people like, especially these social media platforms are supposed to be engaging us and building a form of community, but it's hard to really build a community or engage with people, especially on Instagram, where it's just like, I feel like it's very much like elitist or superficial, because people don't really support you or engage with you, like
unless they see somebody else supporting you.
Exactly. And we kind of contest like our Talk Infamous. So you'll see a lot of people like look at our stories, but they won't engage in it, or they won't at least heart it.
But what's so funny too? I see that usually, like, let's say you get no comments, right? Then people gonna just go past it. But if they see people commenting, then now they're gonna feel reluctant to comment. And so that is funny. It's like people just getting influenced by the influence.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah. I definitely agree. Like, me, I taking breaks too. And a lot of times the reason I taking breaks was either because I was posting too damn much. I'm like, all right, let me get my ass off.
When I leave, I'll post a lot. Like before, Kylie's going to take an Instagram. If I gotta get all this out of my system. Like hey guys, yeah,
enjoy. Enjoy. But it was either that or like I just found myself in this freaking like robotic stage of just like this, and then literally. Like, my mind will be so exhausted. Like, literally, my mind will be so exhausted from watching so many images at such a short span that, to me, I was telling you that I could watch a whole Netflix series. But at least with a Netflix series, you're watching the same concept or the same idea.
Story that's following through.
So you have an ability to give your mind a break because you're watching the same scene or the same concept.
And to digest it.
Exactly. You're giving yourself time to digest it, take some breaks. But with Instagram, you're watching new content like literally every 60 seconds. So you're digesting new content and it's not really giving your mind that breather that you really need.
And the thing with Instagram is trying to be everything all at once. You got stories, you got the timeline, then you got the reels.
The lives.
It's just like all too a lot. And I feel like another big reason is like I was watching this video on intuition, and this talk about how we come into this world good and also knowing what you want innately, and especially with in this time with social media, which is kind of natural because we are people and you get influenced by your environment,
right?
That's why it's very mindful of who you surround yourself with, the things that you eat, consume, and stuff like that. And we are just we're in an age where we are taking in so much stuff all at one time. It could be something pertaining to relationships, career, or something like that. You may have a thought in your head in a way, and you can't really get to the bottom of how you will handle it or how you really feel about it, because then you'll go on Instagram or TikTok and it will say, oh, they'll give you some hot take on a relationship, and then you'll hear that take, and then you'll look in the comment section and you'll see other people's perspective, and then you be like, your mind is in a fog, and you like really like you're just all over the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think she was saying like it's kind of harder nowadays to like have an inner guide, and trust in that and act on it, and
I think that's so. Yeah. It's 100% agree, and I feel like that's literally what social media and the internet is programmed to do, because they want to quiet that little voice inside you. They don't want to give you time to think. They don't want to give you time to digest this information and actually think for yourselves, because it's constant information out there. And then when you have social media and you going through something and you want, all right, let me see if I'm bugging out. You know what I'm saying? That's usually what you say. You tell yourself, let me see if I'm bugging out, and then you do some research. And now, like you said, you didn't really give yourself that time to think.
Sit with your thoughts.
Sit with your thoughts. And so now what I have been doing, like me, I would literally just turn my phone off and just sit and like do nothing.
Yeah.
Like literally do nothing. Just be there eating some Oreos or something. I mean, that's still doing something. But literally that's like what you would want to do is probably meditate.
Yeah. that would be the right thing to do.
The right thing to do, but in the event that you're not there yet, because I feel like meditation is a true skill.
Yeah.
To meditate and not think of nothing. Like that is truly a difficult task. It's something that you have to work towards. But you can take baby steps there. And I'm not saying you have to meditate and do the whole, yoga, but giving your mind 5 minutes. Well, honestly, you need probably a good half hour from nothing. No TV, no friends. Just sit on the couch and just...
Yeah. I think one thing that I've been learning since then, I've been trying to do too, is like, it's crazy. I had a conversation with myself. Like I was speaking to myself, and I feel like that helps to like actually speaking to yourself out loud. And in that moment, I had an epiphany. I was like, yeah, damn, like a lot of people don't like to sit with their own thoughts, and I think that's what a lot of Instagram and all these is a distraction. And I think I know that, but it's like being like this, actually sitting down and realizing like, oh shit, like just hearing myself actually speak. I don't do that enough. Like when I'm in my own presence, you'll talk in your head, but you don't really like speak out loud to yourself, and like hear your own voice and hear your own thoughts. And I just thought that was like really like, I don't know, in that moment it was like very eye-opening. I was like, oh damn, like it's kind of sad that a lot of people don't like to like sit with their own thoughts and really hear what they're saying. And I think a lot of times what happened was, I was able to like speak out loud and say my thoughts and speak to myself about, anything I was talking about. It kind of takes you outside of your body. and you kind of realize that you are more than just like your physical self.
You're like more in control.
Yeah, you're more in control. Like you're more in control, and also like you're also more than like your physical body. You're like your spirit, your soul, whatever you may, perceive it as. But you're more than just like this thing, and it allows you to like to stop, because I feel like we move our bodies, like we move so like such on autopilot. Mm-hmm. And something got to realize, damn, like I don't even take time to actually like think or like be present. And I think like speak to myself out loud has allowed me to be more present.
I love that. I agree, because like me, sometimes when I'm thinking, well, anybody's thinking, and I talk fast. Y'all see in these episodes, so I talk very fast. So I'm constantly thinking of a lot of different stuff at one moment. But I've noticed that the way I think, I'm thinking about so many topics that I won't even finish a thought. I'll be like, oh, I need to. Yeah. And I'm like, oh shit, I gotta pay this bill. I didn't even finish saying what I need to, because I'm thinking about it. But when you speaking out loud, it's much easier to finish your sentence. Mm-hmm. And what I've learned, like even yesterday.
Also hear what you're saying, because sometimes you be like, wait. Because when you think it, it's different. Kind of like when I went to therapy, I learned that too. When I think something, it's completely different. And then when you go to the therapist and you talk it out, because that's kind of like their job to kind of reiterate what you're saying. You be like, whoa. It's different when you say it, and you be like, wait, hold on, I sound stupid, or I sound crazy, or like, you know what I mean?
Nah,
it's
I know
a different
what you mean.
Translation.
Because when you having a conversation, and you sometimes like you'll have epiphanies when you ask the question, you probably get asked a question that you asked yourself already.
And you know the answer to.
But then now you're speaking it in real life, and you're like, wait, I see what I did wrong.
Yeah.
That didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I 100% agree with that. Last night, I got home and I was tired, and I didn't feel like cooking. And literally, I'm just there on the couch just thinking about how I'm tired and I didn't feel like cooking, literally. And I was like, yo, like, let me just be present. And now I understand the concept of just do. Just say yes, like, just do. So I got up and I just started talking to myself. All right, so let me go into the kitchen. Yeah. You know what I've done, what helps me cook, because I like cooking here and there, but sometimes when you have long days, like,
you'd be like,
let me eat these Oreos and go to bed.
Have you go to Oreos? I'll be calling out you like, I'm eating Oreos.
That's it.
I feel that.
But I was like, I had to do it as if it was my own YouTube channel. I'm like, all right, we're gonna go in the cabinet right here, put the plate, let me take these seasons out. All right, we're gonna clean the chicken. And what that has done for me is helped me take action in doing it.
Yes.
Rather than me just sitting on the couch thinking like, damn, I gotta cook. So I would advise you, even if it's a small task, talk to yourself as you actually do it, because I think it will be much easier for you to take action.
Take action and also bring you to the present. Because there's been times where I'm cooking, I'm thinking about things that I shouldn't even think, like, why am I thinking about this? Or why is this like you said, it's not being present in the moment. Right. Like you said, when you do that, have fun with it. Like you said, like, bring yourself to the present moment, talk yourself through it, and stuff like that.
And see where it takes you. Yeah. I was gonna say, on the other note, you did bring up like how sometimes you don't give ourselves like time to really think. And I was talking to one of my friends, and they were saying that a lot of times that they'll listen to music because they don't want to give their self time to think, because like their mind is constantly going to a negative space. And so that was very interesting to me. But then I thought about it a lot of times but it's different for other people. And for me, like if I'm listening to so much music and I have something like going in my head, like so many thoughts, it like increases my anxiety.
Same, yeah.
Because you know what it is, like you're constantly listening to music and you're not really giving your mind time to finish your thoughts. So it's like I'm getting so many thoughts. I'm thinking about so many negative stuff that is actually increasing my anxiety. And I think that in the opposite side, where the person said that music helps them take their mind off of it, I just feel like you're not really giving your mind that break and pause that it needs to, because when that music stops, you're back at point A. You get what I'm saying? So that's just my take on like giving yourself mental breaks. Yeah. Now that was like the perception of it all. You want to talk about like the intuition when it comes to like when you're going on feedback and you're going on social media because you're trying to get these insights. Let's bring it right back, right? Yeah. So, like you was going on social media and you're seeing all these thoughts. You see like somebody's cursing out Kanye, and then now you're looking at the comments and you're like, oh yeah, fuck Kanye, but you probably wasn't even thinking about that. I think having your own intuition and listening to that inner voice guides you on what your true thoughts are. And I feel like it's so hard with that, because I think we touched on it last episode about how that word that you use, group consciousness.
Group
thought, and how it really alters your own thought pattern. And I feel like sometimes we do get carried away in what the group's thinking or what social media is thinking.
And with these people who are perceived to have power and influence, which is like the influencer, the celebrities, people who we in our society, and a lot of time it is entertainers is weird. I think we are more so on the stage of where entertainers are, especially to like the youth, they glorify them over like someone who is really doing real things, activists. Back in the 60s or 70s, there was more. I think it was more geared towards that, where politicians and activists, you think about like Malcolm X and stuff, like they were just as influential as a celebrity.
Right.
Now I feel like it's just more so like we're moving more and more in time as entertainment and grows. I guess I don't know. I feel like the lines
gets blurred. And I think that's just all it has to do with what is that word? I don't want to say maybe adrenaline in somewhat case. People like to be entertained, and I think that is also something unhealthy. Do we constantly have to be entertained? Do we just have to enjoy this music? Do we just have to watch this president make a fool of himself just for entertainment, when there's actually people that's speaking out wisdom, but nobody's watching it because they think it's boring.
Right.
And so now, because people don't want to actually listen to the information, people can't even digest the information because they constantly want to be entertained.
Yeah, I think it's like a heightened level of like escapism. People are more and more, they want to escape reality. So that's kind of what entertainment is. It's like it fills that void. It's just trying to get people outside of their head, outside of like what's really going on. It makes it, and I think people have an illusion that it makes life easier, but it makes life harder because you're avoiding the real problems, and the problems are just piling up.
For real, like I caught myself on social media.
Kind of like procrastination.
Yeah. Like you find yourself getting distracted, and it could be honestly some stuff that's teaching you things, but like within that time that you could have. You could have used that to freaking build your LinkedIn profile.
Right.
Work on yourself, go to the gym, work on certain stuff that's going to actually drive what you need to, get to.
Yeah. It's crazy because it's like, I know we're going to start talking to like JT and stuff like get into that. But kind of like what you were saying, like, I think also another false thing is like, we feel like, oh, come on, I'm learning so much in this time. But it's like, JT kind of said this too. Like, she said, I'm constantly being influenced, every single day, with social media and stuff. Like one day I want to be like one day I want to be a model, then I want to be an Instagram model, then I want to be this, then I want to be that. And she said I have to like sit with myself and be like, girl, you're a rapper, like do that. This is what you came here for, and do it well. And I think that's kind of like kind of goes into what was that point that you made before? Shit,
about like people want to be entertained.
Oh, no, it's kind of like this illusion that people feel like, they're not wasting time because they're constantly they're learning something. But it's like, okay, you're learning all these things and but what exactly are you doing with it?
Right, yeah.
It's like, so it's like, I think sometimes people try to fool themselves into believing that I'm not wasting time. That's
so interesting because, I have a collection of people that do a lot of research. They read a lot of books, and they learn about a lot of different philosophies, but if you're not actually applying it to yourself or the real world, then that knowledge is just sitting in your brain, not doing anything. But that is definitely, like, I 100% agree with that, because I've seen people literally spend years on researching information and, like, great, it. Now you can have a conversation about it. But if you're not really using that to influence anything or change anything, then what is it really doing for you rather than providing information for you? Unless, like you said, that information that you're gathering is benefiting your spirituality or your inner self, then that's different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel like this is creating a whole generation of people who are hyper aware of things. We're all hyper aware of things that are going on, but we're not doing anything about it. Whereas opposed to other generations, they wasn't as the level of awareness and the level of information wasn't as prominent as it's now.
Right.
But they were a lot more progressive in doing things.
Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah.
It's a lot of distractions now.
Yeah.
Now, to piggyback on, like intuition and perception.
Yeah.
I wanted to get to the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of stuff going on. So anyway, I was on social media and I came across these tweets about Playboi Carti and his festival that he had at his concert. And basically, it was clips of his concert. It was a young woman walking out the concert, praying to herself. And she literally said she felt so overwhelmed. She felt uneasy that she had to leave. And she was literally scared. Like, she was a grown woman, probably around my age, just walking. And she was like, I came to, watch this concert. And she couldn't do it no more because it just felt so demonic. And the only thing is, I just want to clear up now. You have, like, there's so many words, a collection of words or symbolism that comes with demonic. And I don't want to paint everything as demonic because, of course, you want to do your research and understand the true meaning of something rather than, this thing is demonic, because not everything is demonic. But the fact that she was actually able to go on TikTok or whatever she was and actually express that she felt uneasy. She was listening to her intuition. And I just feel like that's so important because a lot of people ignore the intuition. A lot of people ignore their inner voice or, okay, I know this is wrong. I don't agree with this comment. But they kind of quiet themselves down because of what the mass is thinking. And so just because she see everybody enjoying Playboi Carti, she knew that she felt uneasy. And it wasn't like, and it's not like she's a hater of Playboi Carti because she actually went out there to support him. Yeah. And that's what I want to emphasize. It's not like, people just hate this music. If they're telling you that they feel uneasy, their spirit is telling them something for a reason. Exactly. And so, now, literally right after that, it reminded me of Travis Scott concert because he was Astroworld. And a lot of his concerts are always like rowdy. Right. People screaming, fighting, and
very chaotic energy.
Very chaotic energy. But when it comes to music and stuff, music is so influential because you're basically singing an incantation. Yes. And with incantations and spells, it has influence on people's
frequencies.
Yeah, it had on people's frequencies and people's thought patterns. Yeah. And why would you want to be in a place that's perpetrating that type of energy? Yeah. That's not pure energy. That's not love and energy. People fighting. That's clearly, obviously, some type of negative energy.
It's the opposite of love and purity.
Exactly.
And what's the opposite of that?
Listen.
That's what we got to say. Yeah.
Right. So now that was that. So I just want to make sure people know what they're doing. And it's interesting because we have Little Uzi Vert that his career has skyrocketed over the past years. Yeah. And he was definitely someone that definitely loved rock and roll. And I'm not, and yes, we already know rock and roll has definitely ties to freaking satanic cult culture in some cases. But Little Uzi Vert has definitely changed over time. And so his last concert that he literally did just this week, he was promoting some song, and one of his lyrics was like,
this is a recent song.
Song. And he was on stage with his little mohawk hair, different color eyes, demonic eyes. It was definitely meant to be a demonic or like an evil type of theatric showcase, right? Yeah. Granted, but then he's singing these lyrics and he's like, I'ma make JT a Satan believer. Wow. He said that, and people that know JT, she's very of course, she does what she does, but she seems like a loving individual. She's very pure. So
from that, especially after watching that interview with her,
Angela,
I gotta have a whole.
Not Angela, what's her name? Angie something.
Yeah.
Angie something. One of them Angies.
But I definitely had open my eyes to who she is as an individual.
Yeah, and so
got a little sneak peek at least. Yeah.
Watching that is the fact that her boyfriend can say this stuff, right?
Whoa. I would have been like, nigga, what the fuck you said? Pull off that stage. Go back on that stage.
Take us by his little mohawk, get over here. It just shows kind of his influence over her as well, because at the end of the day,
that's your partner. That's the person who you lay your head with. Right. Your man.
Right. And then, of course, I don't know what goes on in a relationship, but obviously I know they both have love for each other. But at the end of the day, like you said, I don't know if she has that inner voice that's telling her, this is not right. Are we going to constantly ignore this because he's such a beloved artist? And I feel like a lot of people do that. People still enjoy Travis Scott. People still enjoy Playboi Carti.
Because of their style, their aesthetic.
Little Uzi Vert, but they're literally openly glorifying this violent and, unloving culture. And Playboi Carti, he's never been a shy for. I think we did a episode first season, and he came out. It wasn't Playboi Carti. But Playboi Carti did come out with some shirts or some albums, and I had.
He definitely. I've seen him over the years and stuff like that, and he always have some type of,
something going on.
Yeah,
with
some
him.
demonic way, like kind of like I feel like I definitely felt a demonic presence over him, like just like the way he dresses. And
you felt uneasy just even looking at him, right?
Yeah,
like, you just
but then sometimes you get caught up like, oh, because it's like it's fashion, and I think that's why people get caught up in. It's like, oh, it looks cool, and then the aesthetics, like we're also in a culture where it's visually stimulating. You know what I mean? So sometimes we look past it. And that's even like dating somebody. Boom, you will overlook all the red signs because you're hypnotized by their look.
Right.
And it's kind of like lust
it's
or stuff like that.
It's the same thing, for real. Like, you just so addicted to it, and then now you just not even, like, noticing that this dude is trying to stab you on your back.
Yeah, and that's how demonic energy is. Like, sometimes demonic energy isn't so blatant.
Demonic energy,
it's very deceiving.
Very deceiving. It's very disguised into this type, like you said, this beautiful type of imagery.
Yeah.
But it brings me to Beyonce.
It's always gonna go back to Beyonce. Beyonce is the ruler of all evil.
No. No, listen, I don't disagree with that. Before I get to Beyonce,
I don't disagree with the fact that Beyonce is the ruler of all evil.
No, listen. I don't hate Beyonce. I really don't hate Beyonce.
She say this all the time. She always got to do this disclaimer.
I gotta let y'all know this.
She does trying to get attacked by the Beehive.
The Beehive. So I just want to mention Summer Walker. Yeah. I was very surprised at Summer Walker. She actually tweeted and said something like, "That's not something to play with. Don't."
Yeah.
Lil Uzi Vert. She said something about Lil Uzi Vert. Like, you talking about JT's a Satan believer. If you want to practice Satan, Satanicism, cool. But don't be bringing other people into that and it's just like sucks because JT doesn't promote that. So don't try to like promote that as well. And then the thing is, like, when it comes to accepting certain stuff, when it comes to listening to music, and
that kind of made me like feel like, because I fear for her life now because like I said, I watched an interview. Sorry to cut you off,
no, you're good.
But I watched an interview and like I said, her energy, her presence seems very like. It seems like innocent, a good energy, like all her life. You see her life and what she comes through and where she's at, and like I said, you gotta be, especially in this industry. It's like they always talk about there's a lot of demonic energy around. And that's why you got to be careful, going back to what I said, being careful of your surroundings and who you surround yourself with. So to know that her boyfriend who's that close, even if, he will say, oh, it was jokingly, it wasn't that serious, like, you don't play around with stuff like that. And it's make me fearful for, like, her life, because that's the person who she loves.
Right, yeah.
And you could tell, like, clearly she loves him.
Yeah. And they've been with each other for quite some years, too.
Yeah, so it's like, what does... Yeah, I just feel I don't know, I don't want to say fear, but...
It's make you uneasy just knowing that he would even bring JT into what he does. Because I'm pretty sure everybody was kind of familiar that he does those type of... He likes to glorify certain stuff. But I was really surprised that Summer Walker stepped in and said something. I was actually happy that she said something because I want other celebrities to call other people out. Like, this is not okay. This is not our culture. Or I don't even want to say our culture. This is just not something that we do. You know what I'm saying? This is not what I do. Stop promoting that stuff. And it's interesting for Summer Walker because a lot of people got on Summer Walker a few years ago when she has her own Galacta horror page, I believe. And she's very spiritual, and people like to call her demonic, and all those other words that will come after that. But also, that's what I wanted to say. Not everything is demonic, and of course, you would probably want to do your research as well to certain stuff that you're practicing when it comes to spirituality as well. But she never said she openly worships Satan. I just feel like if you're gonna call somebody demonic, you need to have your facts before you start saying this is that. But also, I want you to listen to your gut, and if something make you feel uneasy when you listen to this music or you go into this concert, something in your spirit, nobody else, your spirit is telling you that this not right.
Before you continue, I want to say, because you brought up a good point about sometimes people, when spirituality, I think people kind of can definitely misjudge or misconstrue somebody and say, oh, they're demonic because they're practicing spirituality or different spirituality is for them. And overall spirituality, what you learn is that spirituality is a lot about duality, is accepting, the good and the bad, the dark and the light. So I feel like, especially when people who speak on spirituality and they talk about, they're not on the lighter end, the sweet, and they talk more so on their darker things, people start to feel uneasy and feel like, oh, this person is demonic, or label them that way.
Right.
But I feel like, and that's something I had to get comfortable with too, because I remember on my first spiritual journey, I was so more focused on like the light, the
positive,
the thing that they push out and make it seem all about. But then at some point you have to realize there is a a dark side to it. And I think people always affiliate darkness with something that's bad.
Yeah, something that's evil.
Skin tone, like black, like, and I'm learning that, no, like darkness is a real thing. You know, when we go to sleep at night, we wouldn't be able to go to sleep without the sun going down.
Right.
There's darkness in the womb. Like, that's where life is formed.
Right.
Everything about the Big Bang Theory, the concept that it was nothing but black, like this darkness, and then all this was made. So there's a lot that happens in darkness, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That happens in those periods of, dark. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going a little bit off.
No, I get what you're saying.
I'm just saying, like I said, you got to be very cautious of, like I said, this labeling everything demonic and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's my point. I just wanted to clarify.
Thank you for that. But yeah, I 100% agree. I just feel like we can't be so quick to label something as demonic or just cut something out or cut something off because we just feel like, okay, this is demonic.
Yeah.
I think of course, doing your research so you can understand certain concepts is extremely important, but also listening to yourself or listening to your body and listen to having that discernment to identify things that you feel. And I say feel because our thoughts can tell us one thing, because we could think all day, but sometimes we do have to listen to our emotions and
the feeling, like your body.
Yeah, because literally your body, you have an anxiety.
Yeah.
You have an anxiety, or your body's, changing because of certain elements. Your body's trying to tell you something, right? You're not having an anxiety attack for no reason.
Yeah.
There's something that's making you feel uneasy about that. The reason I brought up Beyonce is because, you have the Beyonce concerts coming out. And
sis, I'm trying to go in. I'm sorry. So tread lightly, because my cousin literally, she's this, her boyfriend was supposed to go. She got 2 tickets. So she got 1 more ticket left, and I'm trying to get it for $300 so I can go.
$300.
But it's crazy because I know you said we was gonna talk about Beyonce, so I was literally thinking about that. I was like, damn, the concert, and like, I know he's going to touch on that. So yeah.
So Tiffany, I think Tiffany Montgomery. I think she's a priest, and I didn't know who Tiffany Montgomery was until like recently. But she's I guess a known priest where everybody like her. And she said that you ain't a Christian if you go to Beyonce's concert. Now listen, I'm not a Christian either, and I do feel like Christianity. There's a lot more to Christianity than what is just in the Holy Bible, because I feel like religion incorporates other books, whether other books that basically led to Christianity as well.
Yeah.
But what I will say, she just started going into like Beyonce. A lot of her music is always an underlying tone behind music, and that was never new to me. When I believe the album, I think Black as King came out, there was actually a few songs that was cool that I didn't necessarily download it, but you
enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it because I work at a retail store and they was playing it. I was like, okay. And it was a lot of songs that I couldn't understand, because I think in some of the songs she actually put it in a different language and one of the African languages. And what I did, I think we went over this last the first season, and I actually went to Google Translate to translate her lyrics, and it was talking about basically this demon or whatever. Now, that's just one song. There's other songs that I'll listen to, and the imagery is so beautiful. Beyonce's voice is nice, the way she, the beats, the musicians and all that. But there's a lot of stuff on her music where she's kind of basically, not even kind of, she is promoting these different deities. And the thing is with deities is like other beings that people, idolize. And that I don't recommend.
Talking about like African deities?
No, just deities in general. It's African deities, but there's deities literally when it comes to Roman culture. There's Catholic culture. Yeah, Roman culture, and they're not necessarily pure. So a lot of times when people listen to this music, they're like, "Oh yeah, I like this, da da da," but they're not understanding that what they're listening to is literally a spell about a deity, about how they worship it. And what really felt uneasy to me was the fact that anytime Beyonce came up, she always had, and I'm not saying like you can't love people. Like people love Michael Jackson, people love Bernie Mac. But I just always felt like there was this unhealthy or idolization of Beyonce, and I never understood it because a lot of times when I have a conversation with the beehives, it was always in defense. And there's nothing wrong with like defending someone that you love, but it was, I always felt it was unhealthy because people that I felt like was a beehive, they wouldn't even be able to handle a conversation where we're talking about, oh, what does this mean? Okay, how do you feel about that? And it was like, no, what are you talking about? It was always kind of cut off, and I feel like that was what you mentioned earlier about how people don't even want to hear information. People are, because it looks so good, some people just want to enjoy music. Literally, I had conversations where, well, let's not get that deep. I just want to enjoy it. Well, how much music or how much spells are you going to enjoy until you understand what you're actually enjoying? Right. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying, things once in a blue moon, but if you're constantly going to just make yourself blind to it, then in some cases, are you actually accepting what she's putting in her music? Or are you just blind to it? Because there's people that's blind to it, and there's also people that make themselves blind. This way they can feel innocent when listening to the music. Oh, I didn't know she was doing that. I didn't know she was throwing demonic stuff at me. I didn't know that. But actually you did. You just didn't want to see it. And so how do you feel about that?
I feel like, first of all, I feel like people worshiping is... It's not really her fault. It's only up to those people. Like those people need to not. I feel like worshiping anybody isn't healthy.
Yeah, I agree.
That's something that she can't really control because she didn't ask them to worship. They just do. And a lot of times when people worship or idolize somebody to extent to like where they feel like they're perfect or treat them like a god. I can't say necessarily that it's because they don't have no belief in anything, but. They really ain't putting their beliefs in something more important. Because in today, Beyonce is just an entertainer, It's nothing more to that. Now, on the flip side, when it comes to, like I said, I always try, because I watch like a lot of interviews, especially when it comes to like celebrities and stuff like that, because I just like always like to get into the mind frame of like, pop culture and entertainment. I'm just really into that. So when I watch these celebrities or I always go back by who they are as a person and what they show me and what their energy is. And with Beyonce, she's always been big with like doing documentaries and stuff like that. I never really associated her energy with being demonic. But I also know like, a lot of times in these industries, we talk about this all the time. There's a lot of people that work on the camps and stuff like that, writers and producers. And there's a lot of energy that you're surrounded by. And she's like Beyonce. She's a multi-billionaire brand, and there's a lot of people in her camp, a lot of writers in her camp, and when she writes music and stuff like that, you see there's a lot of writers and stuff like that. So it's easy, like someone who may be a godly person, it's easy a lot of times for them to like skip a beat or miss out on something. Now, when it comes to the Black is King thing, I don't really know. I can't really attest to that because I know there are some songs where she's chanting in a different language. I can't really say what it was about, and I don't want to just say, oh yeah, that's what she taught, because I don't know what it is. Right. So I have to look that for myself. But yeah, I don't know. I don't associate her really with being demonic. I think at certain stage, there are, like I said, I think a lot of celebrities do make sacrifices. And like I said, a lot of these celebrities, they come at a young age, so they're already programmed. It's like an incubator. Right. So they make these sacrifices because this is the only thing they know. Yeah. And I think to an extent, we all make sacrifices that go against our dignity. Like, for example, somebody working at a job that they don't like, or working for a company they don't like working at, Walmart. No, Walmart is, I'm trying to use, for example, is like, they have like a low labor count. They're abusing laborers in third world countries and stuff like that. But we work for these companies damn well. Right. So it's like, I think at the end of the day, people forget that where everyone's human, and everyone's trying to like get by and do the best that they can. And we also live in a world that is a capitalistic world, and especially with our black celebrities, I think a lot of times we throw that on them like that. Once they read like a new level, we throw that demonic energy and they're worshiping. But it's like they just got up. They got up. They moved up the ranks, and as you move up the ranks, there's going to be. They said it's every level has a devil. So I don't know. It's very complex. It's not. I don't think everyone who's up there. I think who's up there who reached success is quote unquote demonic. I don't think so. I don't want to say like just black people. I'm only saying that because I'm just saying
I'm speaking to black people. Yeah. And Beyonce, like I said, she's known as a person, you know, in our childhood, she was always this figure of black excellence. She was a black woman with a whole black family, married to a whole black man. And it was beautiful to see. It was something that a lot of people, definitely in the black communities, loved and, you know, glorified as well. So by all means, I don't want to take anything away from her. But the same token goes to the Beatles. Same token goes to Marilyn Manson. A lot of these people openly worship Satan. And, I wouldn't say Beyonce openly worships. I would just say that at the end of the day, yes, the certain jobs that you have to do is going to make you your money. And unfortunately, there's going to be certain times where you'll be like, damn, like, I wish I had worked for a company that did that. But at her level, she has the capability to step in.
But listen, I think that goes back to perception. A lot of times I feel like, again, go back to perception. I think people have, you know, put up, even when it comes to a relationship, like black, we don't know what goes on between their relationship.
Right.
And even with that lemonade, niggas like, oh shit, it was some shit going down.
Right.
So I think people kind of raise Beyonce as someone who has so much control over her life because we see the love and admiration that she get, or we see that the wealth that she's built and all these things. And I think we do that with a lot of celebrities and a lot of people who have this quote unquote power, but they really don't have.
I wouldn't say they don't, and the only reason I will say that because if you ever,
I wouldn't say they don't, but they aren't willing to make the sacrifices. They aren't to like really
get to the nitty-gritty
and really shake the table because they know they have so much to lose. And that's a lot of people. Once people have something to preserve, it's like, especially in this world of capitalism, like once you have something to preserve, it's hard for you to let go because you especially when you've been doing it all your life. That will be detaching from everything you've known. And a lot of times it's hard for people to live in, like going back to living in their truth or living in the truth of like what's really going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Breaking the status quo.
So my thing is, we had talked about in the first season how Jay-Z, I forgot that white pale woman. She's not white pale woman. She's I forgot her name. I'm trying to get her name, but
literally,
a
celebrity?
She's a celebrity. She was literally she's a white known celebrity that literally worships Satan. And Jay-Z and her did a collaboration. They was working together. My thing is, these Beyonce, Jay-Z, they know who's in their circle. They know what people do behind closed doors. They can be going to a mixer and you see Jeffrey Epstein, they like, but you know what the hell Jeffrey Epstein was doing on the island. I'm not saying Jay-Z, Beyonce do. I'm just saying in situations where you're part of an elite group, how often are we going to be like, well, that's family. We ain't going to say nothing. You know, I'm just going to turn my head. I ain't none of my business.
That's the problem.
And that's the problem. And I just feel like with Beyonce and all that, because of her beauty, because of what you call it, a lot of people are kind of blinded to the actual symbolism that she shows in her videos. Is just art. It's not just art because there's a reason that her artwork is so like deep because her artwork is tied to information and the colors that she uses, and no matter what artist, like whether it's Sam Smith or whoever, there's a reason that people make art. I don't come on here to do a podcast just to talk. There's a reason I do certain concepts. There's a reason that she chose certain songs, melodies, because it has an underlying truth. And that's why I say, like, we can't say, oh, Beyonce's stupid, or like Beyonce doesn't.
I didn't say she's stupid.
Not stupid, but what I'm saying is like, oh, Beyonce's just that figure. Beyonce is a very intelligent woman. And the information, the cultures, the African cultures that she studies, she ties them into her music. And I'm not saying...
But who says she actually studies it?
I think that Jay-Z and both Beyonce, they do take their craft serious, and I'm pretty sure that they do take a level of research before putting information out there. 100%.
I think also too. I think sometimes. Yeah, I'm not negating. I mean, I definitely do. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, sometimes I also think, like, people make mistakes, especially when you're learning something new and stuff like that. You may misinterpret something. And then, because I know around Black King, she got a lot of backlash for, like, people in Africa, like, oh, this is not the way you do it, But I think, maybe sometimes the way you receive information is different from other people. And yeah, I guess... I don't know. Maybe she was just learning and getting into us. I really don't know. I wish I had more information as far as the thing that you brought about the actual chant, because that would kind of help me kind of make a formed decision about. But it's
interesting, right? This Lemonade, the Black is King album came out for years. How many times did you listen to it?
Black is King?
Yeah, the album.
I didn't really listen. I don't be listening.
All right, but there's songs that you listen to where it was a different language, right? And as a listener, did you even take time to Google Translate what you listen to? No, because the thing is, as consumers, we're just going to digest this information. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, oh, let's crucify Beyonce. What I'm saying is you guys need to do more digging and investigating on what you're actually listening and digesting, because when you're going to those concerts, you think, you listen to music, but then there's fights breaking out here. You don't know what's actually, like, the influence where you're going to these concerts. They're so influential and you're not knowing it. You're just thinking you're here for a good show. But the whole time, somebody's freaking getting raped in the corner. Somebody's getting jumped here. People's dying. All type of stuff can go on in these crazy concerts. I'm not saying for Beyonce, but I'm saying just for, like, some of Beyonce's songs, certain songs that you understand. I'm not saying, oh, you don't understand it. It's definitely demonic. No. What I'm saying is, as a person that digests information and digests music, as a listener and as a person that likes this person, why not take the extra step to, okay, cool. Yeah. Beyonce's singing about this, cool. I want to know, what is this she's actually singing about? What does that actually mean? Yeah. No, I don't want to dance to her music. You're dancing to the music, you're accepting the music, but now you don't even know what you're really dancing to. You're just dancing to a good tune. And that's the reason I wanted to bring that up.
Like, come on.
The same thing with Lil Uzi Vert. People like Lil Uzi Vert, people bumping, and then he's saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna turn JT into a same believer, and then you're still bumping. But you didn't even hear that he said that, because you just bumping. Yeah. And so now you bumping, and people thinking, oh, you agree. You want JT to be a same believer too. And so now Lil Uzi Vert influenced me, and now I'm influenced to think, oh yeah, JT, type of stuff. So that's why I say just be very careful, because it's so easy to be influenced. Now let's go back to the first topic where you was talking about perception and intuition. We could go on social media and everybody could say, fuck Leah. And then, everybody gonna say, I like Leah, But the whole time, you could have had a bad situation. Now you're rethinking yourself. Oh yeah, I like Leah too, but really, no, you had a bad situation. You don't really like me, but now you're getting so influenced because of what the mass is thinking. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, don't easily get influenced, because it's so easy to do it when everybody else is doing it.
No, I feel that.
But listen, I think Beyonce's a great performer.
She always gotta clean it up.
I think she's a really great performer. I think she's a very talented artist. But I just feel like at face value, I think that anything that we consume, whether it's food that we eat, we just have to do a little more research to find out if this is actually making me feel good or if this is making me feel uneasy.
Yeah, I think you're right. Don't take everything for face value. I think that's what they kind of like depend on. Yeah. Is just like to get caught up in like the glossy image and stuff like that. That's why, like I said, I don't really. It's all situation. Like, for the Renaissance. First of all, I wasn't really eager to get tickets, but once my cousin, like, she got tickets, and then also the album Renaissance in itself was just like a party album, like, so I'm not really, nothing was really like
making you feel like uneasy
about that. It just seemed like it's gonna be like a good, good time.
Good night out.
Yeah, and I think also with Beyonce, I think it was up to some point where people started associating her with like demonic energy, and I think that was like when she started getting into like that Sasha Fierce album.
Yeah, but also too, like I said, to bring it back to Summer Walker, we can't just paint everything all as demonic, because now she's talking about spirituality. No, I don't think that everything she do is demonic, not at all. I just do feel like there's a lot of symbolic symbolic messages that's in her music and in her videos that people are not really doing further research to understand. People are just bopping their heads.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say like, oh yeah, she burns incense, so now she's demonic. No.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think ultimately I think a lot of these people we just remember people are individuals and they're also human. Now, like I said, I always go based off like what I see when they speak and how they carry themselves and their energy.
Yeah.
Because like I said, these are artists and they're in the industry at the end of the day, and the industry it's spiritual warfare everywhere. But like a lot of times they're in the industry where they are working with camps of people and they can be influenced at a certain era or point in their lives, and they may take on something, but also believe in like redemption and maybe you know what I mean. So it's like it's all situational. So it's like I don't like to broad like a huge brush over like this person. What is it? Paint a broad stroke over a person.
Yeah, over one person. And no, I don't think it's only Beyonce. In some cases it's Rihanna as well. Some cases it's Jay-Z at times. In some cases. Katy Perry. Yeah. Shit, we could throw some white people up in here. Listen.
Taylor Swift.
Listen. All of them. But,
Eminem. You be looking at like Eminem. Because remember that shit with that song with Rihanna, like the people just overlook. Like he was literally talking about domestic abuse. Violence. That song was #1 for like ever.
Yeah, I forgot.
And that was his comeback song. Love the Way You Lie. But imagine if a black person made a song about domestic violence. Like, that shit didn't fly the same way.
And you see how they getting on Chris Brown. All he did was a little collab with Chloe.
Yeah.
And they bringing up his past, but nobody gonna talk about Eminem because he white as snow. But,
Yeah, so that's how we gonna end the podcast. So,
Now, listen, I just want to let you guys know we are going to have an Instagram Live soon coming up. Follow our Instagram at TOK Infamous, our YouTube, so you guys can stay up to date.
Yes.
I definitely want to say we're going to have it next week, but it's definitely going to be a surprise, so we'll send you the updates.
Yeah, updates, yes. So it was great getting back in tune with you guys. Saint and Social Lee signing out.
Peace.
Peace.